There we go.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the first Spiritual Abundance Summit. We are so excited, and it's such a privilege to be here. And we're so grateful for you all being here. It's just incredible. It is my privilege to introduce to you our founder, Al Danais. And Al is going to speak to you today about reclaiming your quantum power. And a word about Al, his bio, which has just left my screen. Ah, here it is. Al Danais is a dedicated spiritual healer with over 20 years of experience. He helps spiritual seekers overcome barriers to growth and guides them towards soul alignment. As a Usui Reiki master and teacher and activator healer coach in the dimensional therapy system, Al spreads love, peace, and happiness in every interaction. And that is really true. And just a quick word about Al's magic. Al has the extraordinary ability to tap into the quantum field using intuition, spiritual guides to quickly pinpoint the root causes of issues. This deep connection allows him to bring relief and unlock transformative growth. And I shall tell you, this is absolutely true. He does that. Such a privilege. Al, please share with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra, for the introduction. Yes, Al Danais, I've been doing or into spiritual healing for almost 25 years now. And before that, I just didn't have the I did not have the awareness that I have today. I did not know about all these realms. So it's quite different. I've evolved a lot, but I started off this lifetime from a good place, I will say. Doesn't mean it was easy, but I started off in a good place. And then, yeah, and so the title of my talk today is Aligning to Spiritual and Financial Abundance, Unlocking Your True Potential. And so what I'm going to do is I'm channeling this as we go, but I'm going to stay, I do have like a set, I want to go through this, but I want it to make sense for everyone, and I want it to be easily explainable. So I'm going to start off by, before I go into the financial abundance and the spiritual abundance, I want to talk about the invisible barrier. So this is a concept that I use and I explain to people so that they understand what is going on at a high level. So and we've all experienced this in life, where there's something that we didn't know could happen, or we didn't know that was possible for us, and all of a sudden we figure it out. So and I call that invisible barriers. We're moving and stuck against a barrier that we cannot see the reasons for it. And once we get beyond it, when we see someone else is at that barrier, we can guide them through. So what that means is, this means for every speaker in this summit, and that's why these speakers are here, including myself and the founders, we're all here because we have shone some light on those barriers. We can see those barriers. Some of them, we have gone through them, many of them, and some of them, we are working through them. And as we learn ways to work through those barriers, we share them with others so they can move along. And that's part of everybody's journey. So the invisible barrier applies to all of our spiritual abundance, including financial abundance. So what I'm going to say about the spiritual barrier, there's ways to identify them. And the easy way is, where is there an emotional charge? Where is there resistance? If you are, for example, always broke, but there's patterns that you have that either you procrastinate, you cannot get going in the morning, or that you're brought into an environment that is not that way, and people have taught you that you cannot have financial abundance, or that financial abundance is for just certain people, or that it's just not it's not for you, or that when you have it and you build it up, you end up giving it away or throwing it away. Those are the sign of that barrier. And that barrier, when you start looking into that barrier, you might notice some thoughts about it. You might notice thoughts that, or I'll say words that come up in your head. That's not for me. Oh, I don't want that. And if you start exploring those thoughts, which I call them the symptoms are being told to you. If you start exploring them, then you can start working through that barrier. And one way to explore it is to write it down, because we don't always get those thoughts consciously. Sometimes they are unconscious, but as we start writing, we eventually start channeling a little bit more, and we start getting those thoughts. And that is one way to look at it. There's a lot of other ways to work through an invisible barrier, but that's just one example. I'll give you some other examples, which a lot of listeners do here right now. It is one way is to, obviously, I said to write it out, but there's also tuning into your intuition even more. That's part of it. There is creating an environment that's good for you, that's holistically healthy for you. Going out in nature, because nature is an automatic cleanser and revitalizer. That will help you if you start focusing with intent on what you want to address. Nature helps you. There's all this spiritual, there's many modalities. There are many YouTube lectures. There's many things that can help you along. There's becoming your own healer, which is what you're doing for everything. You're becoming your own healer. In other words, the things we do that help that charge of energy stay strong, and for it to be invisible, like an illusion that we don't know it's there. We keep feeding it. We could be feeding it with food. We could be feeding it with thoughts. We could be feeding it with thoughts we pick up from others. So we need to clean our field. We need to keep our field clean and learn how to do that. One way to do that is to learn a healing modality. Find the one that is important to you, the one that feels the best for you, and explore it. There is going to group healings, where group healings is different than individual healings, one-on-ones, but there's a lot of good to group healings, and it's a different aspect of yourself that gets healed when you do that, which helps move beyond that barrier. And then there are one-on-one healing sessions. So how do you decide what are you going to do to get beyond that barrier, to move beyond that barrier? And I always say it's like playing tennis with someone who's better than you. If you want to learn, find someone that's better than you and is going to teach you what they know, that is open to teaching you. The same thing with healing yourself, and healing yourself so that abundance comes in more, because the more you heal yourself, those barriers fall and that energy is allowed to come in and it flows. So find someone who's what aspect you want to heal, and leverage that and invest in yourself by connecting with them, by working with them.
I love that, Al. It's such a beautiful way to heal the body, because we can't do it all on our own as much as we would like to. It's, you know, when we work together and we find a good teacher. I mean, we're all keys and locks for each other, right? We all learn from each other. And that's what I love about the whole activator world that we live in. We're with like-minded people, and we all have the same big heart. We want to help and be in service and support each other. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Just gonna see if there's anything in the chat. If anyone has questions, add it in the chat. If I'm not, the chat's on another screen, but if something comes up, just let me know. Okay, so that invisible barrier. One more thing to add about that is, if you notice that barrier, and I think we'll be coming back to the barrier throughout throughout our talk here. But if you notice that barrier and you start thinking you want to look beyond that barrier, you want to look you want to look beyond, observe in your mind, in your spiritual heart, and that will help address this barrier. And by that I'll say, okay, I'll say it this way. I hope it comes out right. Let's say it's a relationship, having trouble with a relationship, many relationships. It's a matter of the things I said to do, like either write it down and go through learn your own modality, or access someone else's and learn that. But it's also the belief systems that we have in society. Oh, we're going back here. So we have in society. So my guides are like, we're back. So the beliefs we have in society, even as in terms of relationships, that we think a relationship should be in a certain way. And if we look beyond that, the farther you look beyond, the deeper you're going in your heart. You're kind of doing both at the same time in your heart. Well, should it be like this? Should I be angry at that person? Why did that person wrong me? Did they wrong me? Because if you heal, maybe they did, but you might realize a lot of it was just stuff you're harboring. And that is like looking beyond that barrier. So as an intuitive, I look where a person's stuck, and I look deeper beyond where they're stuck, as far as I can go. I hope that made sense. Okay, that was in terms of a relationship, but we also have relationships with people, places, and things. So if we have conflicts with, thank you, Simone. Yes, it makes sense. So if we have conflicts with certain people, and we focus on ourselves first, unless it's in a situation that it's not healthy for you and very dangerous. I suggest you have to leave. You got to do something about it. But let's say it's something at work, or a conflict with your spouse, that you're just argument. You look at yourself first. I find that 80% of the issues I had were myself, and then the 20% or less. It doesn't mean at some level we're sharing it equally, but it's the less that I have healed that part of me, the more I interact with that story, and the more I get stuck in that barrier, that invisible barrier. Okay, so that, I guess that what I'm being guided to say is to look at yourself, focus on yourself. I do that for all my healing, and that's how I grow. It's like, what is my role in this? So that goes for, like I said, people, places, or things. Okay. I'm gonna go to financial abundance. Financial abundance. the goal, I'll give you a goal, the goal of financial abundance and spiritual abundance is the same, is getting to the point as you heal in your life, the more you heal, the more the energy flows, the good energy flows, the good connections come in, the good connections are there, the more our wants become our needs. So I want a house with 10 bedrooms and 12 toilets. I want a bathroom, so like I'm never gonna have a problem. You know, in my 50s, I say that, maybe a little bit more, but otherwise I would have never thought of that 30 years ago. But let's say I want 10 rooms. I want to be able to make money to have that. And as I heal, I just need 3 rooms, and I don't want that large room anymore. It doesn't mean you can't have that. I'm saying your wants become more your needs. The more you heal, your wants become more your needs. So when you say I want this and I need this, they will be more in alignment with your soul. And you'll notice that happen because it takes you closer to self-actualization as a spirit in a human body. And you'll also notice that you're living a life of allowing and receiving and giving. So financial abundance is it's a way of measuring things on earth, because that's how we exchange money, but it's not the only way. Sometimes you don't have that money that you want because it makes things easier, but sometimes it's because you need to go a different path, a slightly different path. But if you're going to a path that is not, you don't have financial abundance, I urge you to explore that and get through that barrier that we're talking about. There is a lot of advantages, we've all heard them, but advantage of financial abundance, like it is true. Like when you have enough money to do what you want, you don't worry about it. You get to a point that you don't need to worry about it or where it's coming from, or you'll know it comes from. But there's times where you'll be challenged again for growth. And it might be for financial abundance. It might be something, a big investment you want to do. But so financial abundance to me brings peace of mind. It brings comfortable living. I can go after my dreams and not have to worry about it. I can move things around as I want. I can help my family if they need. It's a lot less stressful, and it's a matter of I can give back to the community if I want. It starts with setting intent. It starts with the mindset. And we have kind of 2 mindsets. There's a growth financial abundance mindset, which is the role of, and some of the speakers you're going to hear, including myself, the role today is to, of that speaker is to help engage, activate your growth financial abundance mindset. So that's something that's under your control. Now to say that you might not know about the blocks and the barriers and what they are, but it's under your control to investigate it and to learn and to grow from it. And believe me, the more you do address that, the better things get. It's a matter of taking action and trusting that what you're doing will give you, bring you to your goal. I'll just say, I call it, and I've experienced this, but less, white knuckling through faith. All right.
The roller coaster ride of life.
What's that?
The roller coaster ride of life. The knuckle ride.
It is. But that roller coaster should become less, right? The ups and downs should be less. It should be more of a up. So the white knuckling is, when I started with Dark Night of the Soul, it's a white knuckling through it, through faith. I had faith, focus on what I want for myself, white knuckling through it. So some people, that's where they are right now. They have no money. They don't have any means to maybe purchase the things I'm talking about, to go find it. There's a lot of, so here's how I started off for abundance and for financial abundance. I was on welfare. I had no money. I'd go to the library. I would go to the bookstore and I'd start reading and sit there and read along with other people's are reading. I would go get the books, the new age books, and start reading them. And things would start coming in my head. What I was working on would come. And so there are ways. And when I wanted to take a course, I started, for example, so I had healing came out of me naturally when I had my spiritual experiences. I'm starting to talk faster now, but I'll keep going. One thing I did was when I was working, it was more of an entry-level job that I started off at, but I say I set my intent that when I get my income tax return, I'm going to pay for this Reiki level 1 course. So what I'm saying is, even if you have nothing, you can plan and set your intent, and a year later, you'll probably have it, or 6 months later, or a few months. Doesn't hurt to talk to people about it also, because some people can open doors for you also. But that was one way that I started my road to financial abundance. I started going where it was not comfortable. I started questioning the things to myself. I started going where it is not comfortable in order to change to a growth, financial abundance mindset. There are things out of your control. Now, at a high level, they are in your control. They are part of your journey. They are part of your growth and development. But they are keeping you in a certain direction right now, in a certain place, until you decide to investigate and work on it. And believe me, everything you do, even though it feels like it might not bear fruit, it is at some level working on it. So I say out of your control are you might not be able to control where you were born, but you can look at that today and say, okay, it hurts. I'm a victim. I feel like a victim. Let me look at that. Spirit will provide forms of assistance. When for example, my first Reiki course, I just showing up. Actually, even before that, my first time, I went to a course and I didn't know what it was. She said it was for people who had gifts. I said, I don't have any gifts. And she says, yes, you do. And I showed up, and and it was always women, and they were all doing these healings. And I just sat there because I didn't know, I didn't want to touch anyone, didn't want to do anything. But as soon as they started doing the healings, the third eye opened up and it started showing me everything they were doing and everything that still needed to be done. So at the end of the first time that they're doing their healings, I said, oh, I think you still need to do that, and you still need to do that. And they stopped and they're like, oh, he's right. And they kept doing it. So I showed up. Until I show up and take action and do it, it doesn't happen. My soul planned where I have been born. I as a human not. Good one. Yeah. Good for you. Good comment. Okay. I'm going to give some examples of what this does. Is it unlocks things in your head, and it might bring back memories, and we're going to make little adjustments as we talk through this. But I've had experiences that were very interesting. One of them is one that's easier for us to let go as we talk about it now. You know what? I am just going to, as I go through this, I'm just going to charge our field So I just get positively charged our energy field. So what it's doing is I have a channel to, and a lot of us do, I have a channel to Buddha consciousness and Adi Krishna consciousness. And I say, I can charge. So I charge our energy fields for what I'm going to talk about. And I'm talking about, yeah, this was my bingo one. This is looking through it. So I, as a little kid, and I'm going to make the story fast. I went to bingo with my grandma, and I won, and I think I was 10 or 12 years old, and the people behind me were heckling me, and I didn't think too much of it, but I went and got my prize. I sat back down. They kept heckling me, and the second time I won, I went to get my Elvis Presley gold record. It came back down, but they were getting nasty, and so much that I did not want to win anymore. I just wanted to hide. I just wanted to hide. The next game, this is the third, like so that they played a third game, but I was too stressed and I did not win. But I think it was the fourth game. I like within like 7 numbers, you know, I had 5 of them right, and they were lined up for me, and I did not say anything. I just made myself smaller. I did not want to say anything because I was going to win again. And I grew up in a small town, and I was used to like just learning to be quiet. So I basically shut off my channels, and I've done that in my whole life, whether it's for financial, which was financial, the goodness. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be seen. Another one I had, do not impose, do not impose, do not impose. That's from one experience. We all have experiences in our life where we did not want to be seen. And that energy, once in motion, is still in motion. So I'm just giving one example. If it relates to anyone in any way, you can let it go now. I give you permission to let it go. It's not mine, but I just say, sometimes it helps if I say that. I give you permission to let it go. Okay. So that was one thing that happened. Another thing that happened was I went to the fair. So this example is something that's bad becomes good. Okay. First example I gave was just how I shut off my energy. Second one is how something that is seems bad, if you wait, it wasn't so bad. There's something good out of it. Sometimes it takes months for that to develop, and sometimes it's immediate. So I went to the fair. I was a little kid again. My mom gave me, I think it was
We
$2 back
lost your
then.
audio, Al.
My audio. Okay. How's this? Better?
No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Gotcha.
Okay. Thank you. That's okay?
Yeah. You're
Okay.
good.
Good. Second one was the fairgrounds. I was saying $2 bill. My mom gave me that. I was there with my little sister. I went to play a game, and I gave that person the money. He said, and I said, I'd like to just have like 3 balls, give me my change. He said, no, play the 3 and I'll give you your change after. That's how it works. So I did, and he wouldn't give me the change. And I argued with him as much as I could as a little child, and I couldn't. I walked away and I kicked the ground. I kicked out a $10 bill. That has happened like that. So something that seemed bad, right? And that could be anywhere in your life. That's just a little example, but that happens to me. There's also like setting intent. I was going with my son. We were going to go eat, and I'm thinking, how am I going to get my food? And we're driving by, and I saw the little end of a $20 bill sticking out of the snow about 4 meters away. And he's like, how did you spot that? I spot that stuff, or like there's spirit helping me. There was $22, $20 bill and $2. I'm riding my bike, and I could hear the crinkling of the money as the wind rolled it around. So saying like that's financial abundance. That is what I needed at that time. That was part of my journey. everybody's going to have a different way. So if you think about how money came to you, even though it might not have felt, it might feel like you're always struggling, there are ways. You just got to open up for more. So I'm going to put, just going to look here. Yeah. My wallet, I'm walking, you know, we have a lot of snow where I live in winter. Little kid walking to the store, and Snow Hill was very high because they had piled it high. And it was a long hill for me. And I fell down it and I lost my wallet, and I didn't realize till I was at the store, and I went back home. I looked, I couldn't find it. I went back and I'm walking up this hill. I'm redoing my tracks. I'm going through it, and I walk and I slipped and I fell. I slid all the way down again, and my wallet was there. So I got my wallet and I kept going. It scared me, but that was part of my journey, part of my growth. Okay, please tell me if you can still hear me properly here.
I still hear you.
All right. Okay, the thing I'm going to add is something that's a little different, that it's less in our control. And it's something that I specialize in, and I'll say that because I see belief systems. I'll see that energy is that we have, as a soul, our soul connects to our body through sacred geometry. It has chakras, it has strings, it has a lot of different things that are created, a lot of channels within us. When you go see a healer, when you're healing on yourself, those are the things you're clearing out. One of them that it creates is blueprints. So your soul has, just letting people in, your soul has different blueprints that it creates for financial rules and abundance. And those blueprints can become outdated because things we do with money are different now, or those might have been created when you were in another universe, on another planet. I don't know. I'm just going to drink a little bit here. It creates blueprints. Out of that, it creates templates. And we have imprints. So a blueprint is a kind of a blueprint for a house. This is how this house will be. A template, sorry. A template could be like, I'm going to take this blueprint and copy it, but make a little change to it. So you can imagine it that way. This is energy, so it's not one-to-one exactly. You could have a template without a blueprint. And the things I'm telling you, you don't need to know all the details. Those are the things that guides take care of. Those are the things that your mind takes care of, also your superconscious mind. Blueprints, templates, imprints. So imprints happen if you're in an accident, is a big accident, and you keep remembering that accident, you have an imprint. Imprint. That imprint is there. So what I do is, and I've learned to do this, and that really changes people's ability to have financial abundance, or abundance in all areas in their life. But financial abundance, if you have, if the right guides, the right financial guides, make, along with the superconscious mind, make the proper adjustments in the blueprints, the templates, the imprints, and soul contracts, and other energy structures, it changes your life. Now, I'm not the only person who offers things like that. You have to go find someone who does that for you. I will be talking about that like at the end of, in the next 25 minutes of something I'm offering, but I encourage you to look at the newer ways that people are doing, because they are going beyond those barriers, and connecting with those energies and being able to make changes to it. Sadie, or I see Sadie on the screen. I don't, do you have anything you want to ask? Anything you want to say?
I think, because you're talking about barriers, I just add another layer to that, you know, because it can also be our thought process, right? Is in parallel with the barrier. So we're using that as another analogy in order to make it a little bit more tangible to understand as well. So we all have thoughts and belief systems that don't necessarily serve us, which is another form of barrier, right? So I just wanted to share that, really.
So that's perfect. The barrier is, it's a way to explain it quickly. There's a barrier, but what's in that barrier? The
Yeah,
thoughts, the belief systems,
yeah,
energy structures. It could be part of the unconscious mind, conscious mind, superconscious mind, uh,
trauma.
trauma. Yeah. So that would be connected to it, right? Those are things you explore. And I don't think you have to, let's be clear about this. A lot of people here at this, I'll say all of the people here at this, all the guest speakers are able to work through trauma without making you relive it.
Absolutely.
That is a barrier that some people who are doing healings are still working. They don't have the energy enough, or they're not using that connection enough to heal, surround that energy quickly, and transmute it properly and heal it properly in a way that does not hurt the person who's listening. It is much more comfortable to be with a healer than the white knuckling it through faith. I'll tell you. Okay, so you don't need to white knuckle it. You need to start. So whoever it is, if you're new at this, step up. Step up and like I said, invest in yourself. Find someone you trust and believe in, and connect with that, and they will work through what I call that barrier.
Mm.
Some of them can melt it quickly. Light codes really does a lot. Light language does a lot with that barrier. I love it. I love it. The speakers you're going to hear, they work through that. They really, and that's when they're going to say, they are working through that, and they are going to tell you how it brings you abundance. So for me, in the barrier, there's the old, possibly outdated information that needs to be addressed. That, if you want to say what area of the barrier, Simone, you're welcome to. If not, that's okay. But you're right. That is a good example. So there's information that might have been relevant at one time, or that is caught in there one time and is not, doesn't take us where we need to go today. So you bring in that new energy of the universe, however you're going to do it.
Mm.
Perfect.
And can I just add, because obviously when you're in the healing realms and we clear all these energies, and we also take out the echoes, because there's an echo that still plays out and lives out especially when there's a trauma involved. So, as a healer, as an activator, with all the gifts that we have, and many of these speakers will have this ability, we will heal the echoes that play out in the field as well. So that's important to be addressed as well, more than to go and see a counselor that you're just going to relive the trauma. Whereas if you come to a healer, and there's many of us here over this weekend, so see who you're drawn to, who really you resonate with, and connect with them and work with them to heal whatever it is that's necessary within your own journey of transformation, to remove those echoes that are keeping you stuck as well, along with these barriers, right?
I agree. I was thinking what, to me, that would be, I just throw anything in that barrier, all those things that you have to do. And I like what we're saying, don't need to live through that. What comes up when you said, I think you said counselor?
Yeah.
There's fantastic, so for myself, I've gone through processing, right? We all go through processing. After a while, we realize how long we need to suffer? How long do we want to suffer? And by that is, I went through separation last year. It took a few months and a lot of processing, but it doesn't take a few years to the same degree anymore. It might still let go of things. After a couple of years, there might be things that I let go, but most of it is letting go quickly and healthily instead of feeling a certain way like in my youth for a couple of years, 2, 3 years, or still connected with things I don't need to be. You decide, you take action, you decide, work through those barriers, whatever word you want to call it, that are keeping you there. Get your healing for yourself, whether you do it yourself or you connect with others. And remember that we were saying you don't need to suffer. You do not need to suffer. And that's what people have, I say, ingrained in them. One thing is they're afraid that they are going to hurt or that someone's going to judge them. Believe me, if a healer can help you release your pain quickly, they've gone beyond judging in many ways. Because if they're judging, they become part of the story. And you'll know, because if you say, well, this person did this, and they're like, oh, that's not very nice. Well, they judge. They're like connected to that charge. So if they can go, yes, let's release that. Let's heal that. Let's let it go. What happens? You are allowing that love to come in after that. So that darkness, like basically our love is all around us. And a lot of it's changed because of things we need to heal. As you heal, that love just that switches and you start feeling it more and it starts flowing back and forth more. And it's part of being, it starts off with being grateful for what you have. And if you feel you have nothing, go in nature and just let nature heal you and start focusing on nature. Start focusing because nature has its resonant frequencies that help you heal your body. Coming back, I will come back to the counselor one. So processing was so difficult to find someone that didn't think I was crazy if I'm going to tell them, the things I see. But eventually I found, I'd say of all the years, the last 2 that I spoke to, because I'm going through a plan. I was through a work plan. So you're stuck with whatever counselors they have, which might be okay, but if the counselor does not have a background in energy healing, then they might not be meeting you where you're at. The energy healer will have raised their vibration frequency, and energy higher than someone who has not done that inner work, energetic inner work. That is the thing about. So if you have, and there are not many in a group plan for work, there's not many of those counselors. You have to go pay for yourself. But if you're looking for a counselor, find someone who has a background in let's say a healing modality that you want. And I will say from personal experience, I will get speaking with Sadie, I will heal as fast, I would say actually faster than any counselor who does not have a healing background. I will heal way faster. There's no comparison. There's like things heal within moments instead of 6 months or a year. It's not to knock counselors. We have people who do counseling on this summit, but they have that frequency, vibration, energy, and connections that you need to heal. I hope that makes sense. The difference. You remember I said playing tennis with someone who's better than you. You're looking for someone who's done what you're looking for. And if that counselor doesn't have that spiritual background and energetic background, you're not going to get what you want. Okay.
Yeah. And if all else fails, just get yourself out in nature because nature just heals everything anyway.
It is one way to do things, yes.
Mm.
So I'm not if people say I'm knocking counselors, I'm not, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying choose the one that has the energy that can help you, that has done that work. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's important to say, you know, because there's a lot of amazing speakers here. So just feel who you resonate with and connect with those people. If you really want to change your life and heal something that you're kind of stuck at a crossroads on, you know, we have such an array of amazing speakers that are just coming through. So just watch the whole 3 days and tune into who you really resonate with, and connect with them and work with them, because they will change your life forever.
So we're going to have to, I think we're going to just pause there and do a healing for that, because I'm getting a lot of, from people who are listening, a lot of, I think I triggered some people. So I'm just going to ask that to be positively charged. So we'll add that to the field. Again, what I was saying is not against counselors. It's getting the counselor that has achieved what you are looking for because they've done the inner work. It's very important. So positively charge that energy field, positively charge every person's inner child and shadow self. So let's let that go. It's letting go, but it's not completely done. So we're going to do that a little bit more. Positively charge the inner child, shadow self, and that belief system that triggered. We still got about 25% of it. So positively charge, I will say, okay, we're going to positively charge the lower dantian, middle dantian, and upper dantians. Positively charge lower dantian, middle dantian, upper dantian.
This is the tummy area.
Lower dantian is 2 finger widths below belly button. Yeah. You don't, so what I'm doing is, oh, okay. So we're going to set an intent. We're shifting already. That's healing. Now we're shifting. Is there something you want? It doesn't matter if it's financial. It doesn't matter if it's business. What do you want? What is the biggest thing you want? Now, I feel like I want my husband to drop dead. It's not going to work. What do you want to bring that's good in your life? This is love coming in. So while you're thinking of that, or if you have it already,
It's so funny how.
we're going to positively charge every person's intent. Every listener on this call, positively charge that intent. So there's a lot of healing happening right now. There's healing, there's releasing, there's letting go, there's connecting you at higher energy realms. Positively charge that. Positively charge each listener's intent. So for their intent, positively charge their shadow self, their inner child, positively charge their outer child, and their higher self. This will bring spiritual abundance. Just doing this.
Mhm.
And for whoever it triggered before, we're going to keep charging that, positively charge that barrier and everything connected to it, because that will release them to bring in. And as a Canadian, I apologize if I may have said something that way, but also as part of our healing, that we can release it and let it go, positively charge that. So it is charging, there's fluctuation, it is healing. It's all healing within my time slot. So
Yeah.
let's, everything is divinely timed. If you're
Well,
driving, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I will apologize as well, because I was the one that brought up about the counselors, because I wanted people to see the difference between the two worlds. And I hope I relayed that well enough. But I mean, everything's meant to be, right? So it was meant to be healed today. So this is what we're doing. So openly receive this activation, which is the intention that we grow.
And you said
Thank
it
you.
nicely. I mean, you didn't, you said it nicely. I think whatever I did, it's like I do a sweep of it's like I take see the negativity and I'll speak to it, and I get to it. Sometimes very big, so I apologize, but sometimes not so big. So I just charge that. So positively charge all that energy. And we're going to also positively charge each person's intent. And I'd like to know, if you ever have, if you notice big changes in your life after charging it, after what you're asking, or something happens right after, let us know.
Yeah, we'd love to hear. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, just gonna, for spiritual abundance, we kind of covered that many ways. Also, the spectrum is bigger than financial, but to
It's
have spiritual, pardon me,
it's infinite. Spiritual abundance is
yeah.
infinite.
So we're always healing aspects of ourselves. We're always bringing in, as we heal, those beautiful energies. The earth is releasing beautiful energies that we're locked up to. The universe is also. So if we think there's something, I'm going to charge that intent again, positively charge every listener's intent. So if we think there's something that we cannot do, but yet the thought is in our head, that there's a reason for that, and you work toward it. Take action, show up, whatever it is, and spirit will help. You might find out it's not what you want. You might find a different direction when you get there, but take action. Positively charge the energy field. We're gonna keep doing that, and that's okay. That's what we're doing. So we're gonna positively charge pyramid centers. 6 pyramid centers. I'm not going to speak to them. Octahedrons, we're going to positively charge those. Positively charge the lower dantian. Positively charge the middle dantian and upper dantian. And again, the higher self. And every person's intent. I think we're going to have to go to, so I'm going to let that go. Maybe we should just do closing. It's up to you, or Sadie, should we? I think I'm going to stop there.
Well, the healing will continue, because everybody has their own space of integration. So we're just going to allow that to integrate over the coming days, as long as it takes and is necessary, because we all process at a different speed. So thank you for doing that, Al. I really appreciate that, because it was obviously wanted and needed in the space. So you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that. But I honor you and respect you, and I'm sure that everybody else does, for receiving that activation.
Everything we said is what we needed to say.
Exactly.
So if there's any regrets, whether it's for me or yourself or anyone listening, we're going to positively charge that.
Let it heal. Just let it heal.
let it heal, because it will never, like, once it's healed, it's not part of our field. We don't need to talk about it anymore.
Mm. Yeah. And then you can take the bridge to the other side. No more barrier in the way. You can
There you
take that
go.
leap of faith.
There you
Take that
go.
leap
There you
of
go.
faith.
So my job, one of my jobs is to add the spotlight, like basically the person's their speaker page, which has the free offers and the paid offers. So I'm going to add that right now. I'll be adding it for every speaker as we go through. So I'm going to add it for myself, and I'm just going to talk to that. Is that okay, Sadie?
Absolutely. You beat me to it, because I was going to say, what's your offer? Al, you have 2 offers. One is free. Please make sure that you grab it, everybody.
Yeah, the first offer is basically bringing back your energy. It's letting go of what doesn't serve you, and it's going to all these quantum dimensions and pulling back in that energy. And the guides are doing it, surrounded with it's a meditation. It's 9 point something minutes, and it's encoded with that same healing frequency, vibration, and energy that I've just been saying, positively charged. It's that same energy. So it's a very high level, and it's very efficient, and I use it. So like I used it yesterday, my last time, because I was like, I was, pretty tired getting up and all the stuff that's going on and all the people I talked to, and I just pull stuff back in. And after within 5 minutes of finish, I don't even think about it. I'm just like, oh, get up and go. So I encourage people to listen to that one. It's a popular one, which I really like. Those are the things that I use for myself.
On a daily basis.
I have like a whole library of things I use, so I switch based on, what I've learned and what I need to do. Yes. On a daily basis, a lot of things. Yes. Even on a daily basis, almost, you, Sadie too, and Sandra, as we go through this. Okay. My other one is, so I'm just going to bring it up here. It's Unlocking Financial Abundance Masterclass. So it's masterclass series. So it's 4 weeks, and I have a bonus week, so it ends up being 5 weeks. Is basically bringing up a person's energy. So they'll see it if they go to my spotlight. And we bring up their vibration, energy, frequency. We charge like we just did right now. I have the guides go access the superconscious mind, work with the superconscious mind, update the blueprints, templates, imprints, soul contracts, and other energy structures. And that makes a huge difference in a person's life. It just changes their trajectory very quickly. So if that's something that interests you, please check it out. If you have any questions, you can go to my website and contact me also. How about Sandra? Is Sandra?
He's here.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
I get
sir.
like, I don't know, when I don't see you, I'm like, oh no, where's Sandra?
Oh, I'm here. I loved your talk. So many good points. I'm like, oh, I need to remember that. Excellent. Excellent. And Sadie, you just held such beautiful space and such good questions and reassurance. Yeah. Needed that healing too. Oh, yeah.
It's feeling pretty good now. I think it has uh I don't even have to say it. They're saying you don't have to say it anymore. It's just closing off. It'll, like you said, Sadie, it'll continue doing in the background. Just gonna stop the recording.
Okay. Thank you.